Hello, welcome to this short video with a Timesheets by Tempo overview. My name is Jason Kidner. I'm an Enterprise Solutions Architect here with Valiantis. It is May 2024 and wanted to give you a short, sweet overview of a great app called Timesheets by Tempo. Few introductory thoughts. Timesheets by Tempo is an app for enhanced time tracking on Jira issues. The vendor that has created Timesheets called Tempo, they are a long-standing app developer in the Atlassian ecosystem, and they have won many awards from Atlassian. We'll say that Valiantis is a platinum solution partner with Atlassian. We are also an official partner of Tempo, and we have done many Tempo implementations, and we now offer public and private trainings for timesheets. Few benefits of Timesheets by Tempo over just your standard Jira time tracking. So one is customization. Timesheets offers extensive customization options such as time tracking periods, more granular permissions, and even advances in how far in advance you can log time. And there'll be other things I'll show you in the demo shortly. There's also approvals for timesheets. So users can submit timesheets for approval, and there's a whole approval process, none of which comes with default Jira time tracking. Timesheets also offers cost tracking flexibility. So you'll see there's the ability to use what are called accounts. There's also billable time options within Tempo that, again, do not come with Jira. Advanced reporting. Timesheets offers more advanced reporting capabilities compared to Jira time tracking. It also provides various pre-built reports and customizable options to analyze time data. Timesheets also has a robust API. Jira does as well, but Timesheets has it that allows for many different custom solutions. Solutions that we've done with Tempo using their API is integrations with Workday, extraction of Tempo timesheet data to a data lake, and really just the imagination's wide open for how we could potentially help custom solution something for you. Then finally, there's Google and Office 365 calendar integration. This is with the Tempo or the Timesheets by Tempo for cloud, and they keep adding different integrations more and more into the cloud. All right, so the rest of the time we'll just do a short demo of some of the features, again, really high level, but just to give you a sense of what Timesheets can do. And this is going to be within the cloud. So I'm in the cloud instance of Jira. Timesheets by Tempo has been installed. When it's installed, a couple things you'll see from a issue view screen. When a user would potentially log time in the past with Jira, they would click this log time button. Instead of seeing the default Jira time tracking screen, you now see the Tempo log time screen. And again, to highlight here, Tempo layers really on top of Jira, so it uses the Jira foundation of issues and projects. You have to log time on an issue, just like you can with Jira time tracking, but you have a lot of other options here. You choose the date, you choose the time, amount of time you're working, description, this can be optional or not. There's also hidden fields, again, some other fields out here that you don't typically see with Jira. And there's other opportunities to put what are called attributes, like the account field can be an attribute. Other customizable attributes can be put in here as well on a work log by work log basis. So this is what you would see in a view screen. You can also open up and add in a Tempo panel here with this button. And when I scroll down, I can see this new Tempo panel, which is going to highlight the ability to log time on this issue. You can plan time just for yourself with timesheets. And then when you log time, you can also see that time being tracked here for yourself. Potentially, if you have permissions, you can see other people's time that's being logged onto this issue. So you basically just start to see Tempo wherever you would typically see just your time tracking with default Jira. Another main place that people would go to log time with Tempo is they would go into the apps dropdown and choose Tempo. And when a user does this, they would automatically land in what is called the My Work area of Tempo. And so here's my work area. And so here I'm landing in what's called the timesheet view of my work. So this would show all the time, like in a given period. In this case, it's a month. I could also switch to a calendar view. This is where your calendar integrations would come in, your events would come in from Google or Office 365 and show here that you could then validate your time against. You also have a list view that highlights what work you've done each day, and it'll add up and show, have you gotten to your 8 hours, that sort of thing. So in any of these, and what I'll do here is I'll just log time in one of these places, and I'll choose that issue that I was on recently. Let's see here. Let's find SSP-108. So you basically are looking up issues to search for. There's a couple other ways you can search by project, assignee, status. There's also an internal option that allows you as a company to flag up internal issues that maybe all users need to see, like time off or meetings, things like that. In this case, I'm just going to log time against this issue. Again, going to choose Monday, 8 hours. I'm just going to say I was doing testing. And then when I log time, notice it shows here on the calendar view. It just shows as it was taking up my whole day pretty much. And in timesheets, it's now going to show up once that renders. It should show up on May 27th. Let me refresh this to make sure it shows up again. There we go. So now this shows up as 8 hours on Monday the 27th. And with the timesheets view, you can do some grouping where you can group the work you're doing and see it roll up to put, in this case, to the epic, up to the account, things like that. So you can do different groups in this view. Another thing you can do in Tempo is you can submit timesheets. Again, this is if your company's setting up a policy for approvals. So the user would fill out their timesheets, usually for a given week. You can also do submissions by the month, and they would come up here, click on this. This will notice, it looks like this is set up for a monthly submission. It'll note how much time you've logged, how much time was required for you to log. And I'm missing quite a bit, as you can see here. But the idea here is then I'm picking a reviewer. This is going to be one of your team leads that I'll show you is set up with what is called Tempo Teams. So you pick one of these folks and then leave a note, and then you'd submit that timesheet. And then your team lead would review it and approve it or reject it, send it back to you. So there's that ability as well. So for there, I want to highlight down here in Teams, there's a Teams section. And this is optional. You can use this or not use this. This Teams area is needed if you want to do timesheet approvals. It is also needed if you, when you potentially use another app called Planner by Tempo. But in this case, this is where you as a team lead would come in. I'll click on my team, Team Thunderbolts. This is where you could go, as a team lead, you could go to your approvals tab. And this is where as people are submitting their time, you would see that time here. Notice I've got a couple people waiting for approval for their time back in April. And I can approve it, reject it. And this is the whole UI piece for approving. And then for teams, the team leads can also add members, remove members, kind of adjust the capacity or the allocation, I should say, of their team members. And you can also control which projects this team shows up in, basically a context, because there is a Tempo Teams field that you can add to issues. And this is basically helping to control the names and which projects that team option is available. There's also the ability to manage accounts. This comes in really handy related to that cost tracking categorization. So you can set up accounts here that would have their own keys, a lead. You can set up what are called account categories that those accounts basically roll up to. So you can put multiple account names underneath a category. There's also the ability to create what are called Tempo customers. And so those customers can be created, and then you can link a account or accounts to those customers depending on the use case you have for your time tracking and what type of company you are. And these accounts as well, you can set up in specific projects or make them global. Again, this basically sets the context for what is the accountant field, which is another field introduced by Tempo that you can add to create screens, edit view screens out in Jira, where you can put a specific account onto an issue so that all the time logged on that issue basically gets tagged with this particular account. So that's some opportunities here. These are really highly useful, again, for categorizing time logged and to help with reporting. Which gets to the next thing, reports. A couple of things, notes about reports. Typically, with just Tempo or timesheets, you would have the log time report where you can filter in different ways for the time you want to see. You can group the time, the work logs in various ways. So out here, again, it's just set up right now with grouping user by project, but I could group these in any number of ways by various Tempo fields, by various Jira fields and custom fields. There's lots of really great opportunities to organize your time and to see exactly the breakdown of work or the work logs that you want to see. Finally, just want to highlight that if you're an admin of Tempo, which Jira admins would by default be the admins out here, there are many, many different configurations that you can adjust. Again, so much more than you have with default Tempo or Jira time tracking. Lots of opportunities for permissioning, and again, those things around account categories, roles, workload, how much time a week are your employees expected to log, holidays. So a lot of different opportunities here to configure it exactly the way you want. So if you do want to know more about this, we do now have a 4-hour Timesheets by Tempo training course, a quick start course, if you will. It's a half day. We offer that publicly. We also offer it privately. And if you are interested in talking any more about Tempo, you can reach out to me, jason.kidner@valiantis.com. You could also scan this QR code and reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to chat more with you about Timesheets by Tempo. So thank you. Take care.